I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Victor Bulto. He is president of Novartis Innovative Medicines U.S. Victor, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So Victor, give me an update or an overview of Novartis's Q2 earnings, both globally and specifically in the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just presented today very strong Q2 results across a number of angles. From a top line perspective, we showed very strong growth, 9% in constant currencies versus prior year. And that flew to the bottom line with a core op inc. increase of 17%. So very pleased with those results that are mostly driven by the key medicines we decided to focus our attention on about 12 months ago. So we went through a good focus exercise and we decided that we wanted to disproportionately invest in the areas where we could have the most impact on patients, but also a return for our shareholders. And the key four medicines where we saw really strong results are Entresto for heart failure, Kesimpta for multiple sclerosis, and two of our cancer medicines, one for metastatic prostate cancer called Pluvicto, a highly innovative radioligand therapy, and also Kisqali for breast cancer. So very pleased with how these have been progressing. And specifically, we also upped our guidance, for the full year, given these strong results. And you asked about the U.S. In the U.S., we also saw a very strong contribution with 14% growth versus prior years. So we're growing faster in the US than we have been across the rest of the globe. And that's part of the strategy as well that we embarked on a while ago. The other highlights for Q2 have been a share buyback that we announced of $15 billion to be executed until 2025. We see that as a reflection of on the one hand, a very strong balance sheet and also strong growth prospects as well. So we will retain the flexibility, of course, to continue to bring other companies if we see fit, but very strong results overall.
So now Novartis has set an ambitious goal of becoming a top 5 pharmaceutical company. Tell me, what strategies or initiatives have you implemented to achieve this objective?
Yeah, so about 12 months ago, we embarked on a journey to become a pure play pharma company. Over the 25 years of history of the company, we've been mostly a healthcare conglomerate. Now, with the approval that we just announced today from our board of directors to proceed with the spin-off of our generics division, Sandoz, when approved, we will become for the first time a pure play pharma company, which is what we do best, right? And as part of that exercise, we ask ourselves, how do we, over the mid and long term, maximize the impact we can have with our medicines across the globe, but also maximize shareholder returns? And the answer was focus, right? How can we make sure we focus our energy in 5 key therapeutic areas where we have more legacy, deeper understanding from a scientific perspective and presence. And the other area of focus was geographic. So in certain areas like Europe, we are number 1, and we have been traditionally been the number 1 pharma company. Now, a clear area of growth for us is how do we become as successful in the US, where we are number 10, as we have in other geographies like Europe. And in order to do so, we're looking at the market and understanding what are the specificities, how do we have to research, develop, and commercialize medicines uniquely in the US to make sure that we are as successful here as we have been otherwise and in other geographies as well.
So Victor, tell me, what areas are you prioritizing to drive expansion and enhance Novartis's market presence in the US?
So it's 5 main areas. So traditionally, we were present in 10 to 12 therapeutic areas. And what we realized is that given how complex science has become, how complex the market has become, and how difficult it is to actually ensure that patients get their medicines, we have decided to focus on 5. And these are areas where we have had traditionally a very strong presence. We know the science really well, and we have teams on the ground. And these are cardiovascular disease and renal diseases, where we have, for example, our medicine Entresto. It is also in immunology, where we have had traditionally a very strong presence, and neuroscience. And then on the cancer side, both in hematology and solid tumors, right, where we have very strong presence today with medicines that are already helping patients with cancer, and where we are continuing to explore how can we further expand, the patients that we can, help, with cancer. So those are the 5 key therapeutic areas. And then from a technological platform perspective, we also decided to double down in the areas where we have an edge we have a scientific and technological edge, and we can think, we think we can translate that into a competitive, sustained competitive advantage. And that's radioligand therapies in oncology, cell and gene therapy, and also RNA technologies. So in a way, we are focusing in three areas, from a therapeutic area standpoint, from a technology standpoint, and from a geographical standpoint. And this focus combined is what is driving the very strong results that you saw in Q2, and therefore our confidence to up our guidance.
All right. Well, Victor, wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk today.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.